Let's go straight to email gate, whatever you want to call it, the Hillary Clinton situation. So Hillary Clinton is, yeah, Hillary Clinton is. I can't say that she's in trouble. It still remains to be seen what the outcome will be of this email situation, but it does go to confirm the Office of the Inspector General has basically a watchdog organization, a nonpartisan watchdog organization, has reviewed and released a review of their findings related to Hillary Clinton's private email server and her usage of that server. And the report is rather scathing. And it doesn't limit it to Hillary Clinton. It does go back and implicate past secretaries of state, including Colin Powell. But the focus is on Hillary Clinton because she is the only one that is under a federal investigation. So in their findings, it is much more than what Hillary Clinton's campaign has made it out to be. And I think that's the most telling thing in this entire conversation is the desire of Hillary Clinton supporters and her campaign and Hillary Clinton herself to minimize this as being absolutely nothing, when in fact the report has come out from the Inspector General's office that she has broken rules. They specifically said the word rules according to a piece of legislation that authorized them or required them to set said rules. So in effect, you can say that she broke the law, but in the actual language of the Inspector General report, they said that she did break the State Department rules, particularly. Well, actually, better yet, let me just put it on the screen for you so you can see it for yourself. Here's the first interesting thing. The Office of the Inspector General discovered multiple instances in which Secretary Clinton's personal email account sent and received official business email during the period from January 21st, 2009 to April 12th, 2009. For instance, the Department of Defense provided to the Office of the Inspector General in September of 2015 copies of 19 emails between Secretary Clinton and General David Petraeus on his official Department of Defense email account. These emails were not included in the Secretary's 55,000-page production. At a minimum, Secretary Clinton should have surrendered all emails dealing with State Department business before leaving government service. And because she did not do so, she did not comply with the department's policies that were implemented in accordance with the Federal Records Act. So at a bare minimum, she broke the rules by not turning over all of the emails that were a part of her official business. There are a set of emails that were left out, that she had an email exchange with General David Petraeus. But it gets worse. It gets worse, and they go on to say that two staff members reported to the Office of the Inspector General that in late 2010, they each discussed their concerns about Secretary Clinton's use of a personal email account in separate meetings. The director stated that the secretary's personal system had been reviewed and approved by the department legal staff and that the matter was not to be discussed any further. The Office of the Inspector General found no evidence that the staff in the Office of the Legal Advisor reviewed or approved Secretary Clinton's personal system. From the report, they made it clear that had Hillary Clinton sought permission to use her server setup, her private email server, that she would have been turned down. So we got a lot of things going here, and there's actually more, right? And I'll get to a little bit more. But let's just start with these items. Number one, there were staff members who warned her or complained and were concerned about her email server, her private email server, and the usage of her private email accounts. They were told by her staff, by Hillary Clinton's staff, that this had already been approved and that this should not come up again. In other words, they were silenced and told to shut up about it. This goes back, if I'm not mistaken, let me look. Let's see how far this goes back. This goes back to 2010. As long ago as 2010, really within the first year of her taking office as a Secretary of State, the red flags were going off with staff members and warnings were being made, and that those warnings were being shut down, silenced. And this says a lot that I can give commentary on, and I'll give commentary in a moment. But I want to point out the fact that this has been going on, or the warnings have been going on for a long time, from the very beginning of her tenure as a Secretary of State. That's number one. So that's a violation. The main violation that's being pointed out is that even as she turned over and made this big overture as though she was being beyond transparent because she was turning over 55,000 pages of documents, it did not include 19 communications between she and General Petraeus, official business that, according to the Federal Records Act, she should have released before leaving government office. Now, I'm trying my best to save the commentary. The fact of the matter is, this is ammunition in the hands of the Republican Party. This is ammunition in their hands. It's something that they will use against Hillary Clinton from today through November and beyond. If she happens to get the nomination and she wins the White House, they are not going to let this go. They have a propensity to run things in the ground even beyond their true value. They're not going to let this go. They're going to dog her with this. So that's number one. Number two, Donald Trump is going to throw this in her face I'm not just talking, so Republicans in general, the best of Republicans, right? The John Kasich, if you think he's one of the most moderate and reasonable Republicans, he would bite and sink his teeth into this, and now amplify that by the ego of Donald Trump. This is something that's going to dog Hillary Clinton for a very long time, mainly because it shows a lapse of judgment, an amount of stubbornness, and an attitude that she's above the law. That's what it really shows. Because if warnings came and the professional culture in her office was such that they, one, lied and said that this had been approved, and we're seeing now that it was not approved, and two, if she had asked permission, it would not have been approved. But the professional culture that she fostered at the State Department at her time was such that they shut down any warnings about any inquisition, any questioning. They shut it down and said that it should not come back up. That's number one. So the culture itself is one that gives you that it really just goes in line with everything that you would think about Hillary Clinton and everything that they're saying about Hillary Clinton, that she's not trustworthy. And a narrative like "you're not trustworthy" is a simple enough narrative to stick. Now, you have a choice in this election, right? You have a choice to ignore this and pretend like this is just another Benghazi gate. Pretend like this is just something that's a witch hunt by the Republican Party, despite countless hours spent investigating it, right? You can just be like, you can ignore it, or you can admit that this is problematic. And this is something that at a minimum should help people make better decisions. Let's just put it there, right? I am not sure if this is going to, not only am I not sure, I'm positive. I'm positive that as it stands right now today, these results will not change the dial enough to actually have an impact on the primaries. I do think that this will have a serious impact on the general election. I think the die is cast already for the primaries. It's up to California, and we'll talk about California in a second, particularly with Chris Matthews. I forgot that's on the list. We'll talk about California. But if things keep going on the trajectory that is currently going on, Hillary Clinton will win the nomination, and that means we will have a candidate from the left side of American politics that has just another layer of baggage on top of the baggage she already has. So I'm afraid that this is just one big piece of baggage that's going to hunt her through the entire general election. And you know what? You guys earned it. They earned it. The DNC, they earned it. Congratulations. Congratulations. You got a candidate that is that's going to carry more baggage with her into the election than Donald Trump. Can you imagine how unlikely it is for somebody to have more skeletons and baggage in their closet than Donald Trump? We managed to find that candidate, and it's Hillary Clinton.